All right, hello. In this lesson, we're going to go over bias in data collection. Before that, got a warm-up question here, just again practicing, getting ready for the AP exam. So I would pause the video and try to list out what's happening here and see if you can figure out which answer choice makes the most sense. Okay, so on this line here, when you create a new array list with integers, it's blank. Okay, so I'm going to put some spots here. Looking at the answer choices, there might be a few spots, but I'm just going to make some here and know that it's currently there's no actual elements in there. Okay, so then it takes k and it goes from 1 less than or equal to n, which n is 6 because it's being passed in here. So for our values of k are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I think it's going to loop 6 times there, 1 through 6. And then for each time, it's going to add a new integer, which is k times k plus 3. And the add, it's just adding with a single parameter. There's no like position, so it's always going to add it to the end. Okay, so the first time when k is 1, it's going to be 1 times 1, which is 1 plus 3 is 4. And then when k is 2, no, sorry, when k is 2 next, sorry, because k goes 1, 2. So now it's going to be 2 times 2. So this spot's going to be 2 times 2 plus 3, which is going to be 7. And now k is 3. These indexes are off 1 from what k is here. But anyways, k is now 3. So 3 times 3 plus 3, I believe that's going to be 12. And now k is 4. So 4 times 4 plus 3, etc., etc., etc. I think this one is 19. Then it's going to be 5 squared plus 3. Oops, what am I writing there? 5 squared, 5 times 5, plus 3, so that's a 28. And then the last one, k is 6, so 6 times 6 is 36, plus 3 is 39. It should be something like that. 4, 7, 12, 19, 28, 39. Okay, so it looks like letter C is going to be our answer. Okay, so our goal today is to discuss the ethics involved in collecting data and try to avoid bias when collecting data. So a lot of modern programs especially, right? Think of all the AI stuff, that is getting trained on data. Okay, and so this can be problematic, kind of, I guess, in two ways. The data itself that's coming in can be biased or racist or something like that, which creates problems, or the actual algorithm, the way the code is structured and analyzes the data, could do it in a way that's not accurately represents reality. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Maybe I should do this first. Just algorithmic bias it just occurs when a computer program makes decisions that unfairly favor one group of people over the others due to errors in the data or the way the program is designed. Kind of, I guess I already said that before, but basically the actual data itself can have problems, or the actual code could be problematic too. Okay, and if you are doing this lesson digitally, there's 2 videos in the Schoology folder that I would have you watch at this point. Right, in class, we'll obviously watch them together, but if you're doing this at home, watch those videos at this point. Okay, so I kind of want to just start with a scenario, right? So say we're trying to make the lunches better here at Rogers High School. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to collect data. Down here it says collect data from the students to understand how satisfied they are, and then what are their ideas for improving. Okay, and then we can run a computer program that analyzes all that data and makes suggestions for how to improve. Okay, so the way the data is collected can be problematic. So here's 4 options. I encourage you to pause the video and see which one you think makes the best sense, or makes the most sense, and why. So pause the video and come up with your answer. Okay, so the first option is good in the sense all students have the chance to fill it out, but this is a little problematic because you're going to get people that really, really care about this. So you're not going to get really the opinions of all the students. You get just people that really care a lot. So this is a little bit biased, kind of towards the people with strong opinions. So it's not bad, but I wouldn't put it as my first choice. So I'm just going to draw an X there. Okay, and then number 2, again, it's not too bad, but I don't think it represents all RHS students. I have mostly juniors in my classes, and so if I did my Algebra 2 juniors, then I'm not taking into account the freshmen and the sophomores and the seniors and that stuff. So also not great. Okay, and then to me, this is by far the best. This would be kind of what they call it a random or systematic. So this would, like, I'm assuming if people don't eat lunch in our cafeteria, maybe we really don't care that much about their opinions about the school food. So this would be all the kids we really care about, the people that are eating lunch in our school. And like every fifth student would sort of just randomly pick different students and get their opinions, right? Because we might not have time to survey every single student. So this route would get us a subset, but do it where like almost all the students can be picked. So they all, I'd say all, or at least all the students that eat lunch are in consideration there. So we'd say all lunch students. Okay, so this is generally going to avoid bias because all kids, freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, all different backgrounds. I'd be like, we call it like a diverse set of students. It diversity represents all the different students here at Rogers High School. Okay, and obviously 4 is problematic. Athletes are probably going to, in general, eat more than the other students and stuff. So they are problematic, and that would not represent all the students, right? This would be we'd say this is like biased towards athletes, right? Because it only really takes into account their opinions and not the opinions of all the students. Okay, so the best here is number 3. Okay, and then just to make this like a little bit more in real life, not real life, I should say, but like more wider scope here, I guess, is the AIs, right? ChatGPT, Google Gemini, a lot of those ones, they're called large language models. They're training themselves from the internet. They're just crunching through all the data on the internet. And so my question here is, what are the problems and biases with doing that? Okay, so again, I would pause the video and try to see if you can come up with some answers to this question here. Okay, so there's a bunch of them. So the first one is the internet is full of, I'm just going to put trolls, right? So people that are like racist or anti-Semitic or sexist, or just people that posting all sorts of mean stuff on the internet, unfair stuff, and their voices often get amplified. Like the more they've done studies, the more negative a story is, the sort of the more clicks and attention it gets. So like basically trolls and negativity is amplified on the internet, right? And that is not good. And then the ChatGPT, they eat all that, or they read all that stuff, and then those comments and thoughts get in the AI, which is not good. Okay, and then I would also say here, like, not everyone's voice is heard, right? Like some people, like honestly, like we talked about the negativity, some people making reasonable or fair or kind statements, they might get drowned out by all the negativity, right? So because there's so much negativity, then like the positive voices get drowned out, and so like these models are biased towards negativity, right? So another problem would be not everyone's voice is heard. Okay, and then the final one, I'll show you some examples of this here, but like because there's racism and anti-Semitism on the internet, and anti-Semitism on the internet, those struggling to spell here, internet, those can get into the AIs, right? Those thoughts can end up kind of getting in part of the AI because they're all over the internet, unfortunately. Okay, so they do have some problems, and there's I just kind of did a search here of famous examples of the AIs running amok and having all sorts of problems, and so you can just kind of read through them there. But there's lots of these things happening, and so it's certainly a problem of the internet. Again, there's so much bad data on there that gets into the AI, and then the AI does not great stuff. Okay, so I think this kind of leads into the question of like, how do we avoid this? Okay, so this would be a good thing if we don't want our chatbots, our ChatGPT and all that stuff to be biased. What would be some ways to prevent that? Okay, so I'd encourage you to pause the video and try to brainstorm some ideas on your own. Okay, so here's the list I came up with. Like if you know, I can scroll a little farther. If you know there's like certain sites that have lots of bad information or there's lots of bad data, you can screen for it, right? You could search through the text, search through the data, and anything that is racist or anti-Semitic or sexist, all that stuff, you could just exclude it from your model being trained on that data, right? You could essentially throw it out and not include it in your training. Okay, and then those videos talked a little bit about like that facial recognition that had problems recognizing the faces of minorities and faces of women. So, generally the way to avoid that is just when you're training, try to train on the most diverse set of data that you can. So like faces of all different ages, different heights, races, genders, ethnicities, as much as you can, get that data as diverse as possible so that the model learns to recognize all different types of faces, not just specific types of faces. Okay, and generally speaking, the more data you get, the better. The more faces you have, the better, assuming again that it's unbiased, like you have faces representative of all the people on Earth. The more data you can get, the better it'll be. Again, assuming it's not biased or racist or something like that. And then again, assuming the data is not biased or racist, the more diverse, the better, right? I think I already said that, but we want to train on all different possible people from planet Earth, right? That would be the ideal, is to get, you're probably not going to get all 7 billion faces, but the subset of faces that you pick should represent all the different people on Earth, ideally. Okay, so here is I have a couple sample AP questions here to close. So again, I would encourage you to read through this, give this your best shot, and then see if you can, pick A, B, C, D. What do you think the answer is? Okay, and so the right answer to this is A, and this kind of as we talked about, like especially here it says users have spent more than 500 hours. So this favors like people that are really experienced with the programmer, but it doesn't represent all the different people that might use it. So here's the explanation from the AP site if you want to see that, right? So it's kind of like your power users, your people that use it a lot, but that's not everybody. Some people use it less, right? Like think of some people use TikTok a lot, but there's certain people that just use it more sporadically, and so you'd want to generally get their opinions too, not just the people that use it a lot. All right, so the best answer there is A. You could have some bias in there. You got to be careful when thinking about making a program like this. Okay, and these ones don't fit exactly with today's lesson, but I didn't know where else they fit in the course, so I'm going to have you try a couple other ones here that are only partially related to today's lesson. Okay, hopefully you got a chance to try it. The reliability, okay? So when this is sort of a diversity thing here. You want to make it's tested on all the possible different conditions, right? So all the different ways the program could be used, or all the different possible scenarios, that's going to give you the best result, right? And like the constructors part's not really going to matter too much for reliability. You definitely don't want to make your attributes, those are the data instance variables, you always make those private, so this is the wrong answer. And procedural abstraction, that's just like how the programmer actually like hides the details of the program, and that's not really affecting reliability. That's just sort of how the code is structured. Okay, last one here. Pause the video and give it a shot. Okay, and this is actually very, very similar to the other ones, where the theme here is sort of diversity. The more conditions you have, the more faces you can train on, the more diverse set of faces you can train on, the better it is. Okay, so this is kind of the same thing where you want to test under all the possible different conditions that your program could be used, and that would increase the reliability. Right, the more different ways you can pound on it and test it, the better, right? The more different cases you can run through it, the better it's going to be. Okay, that is it. Thank you for watching.